Ekpa has a lot of things on his hand currently now. For him to move to Venezuela, I don't know the source, if actually true, might be as a result of one engagement or the other. But the truth of the matter is that he is a Finnish citizen. The dual citizenship is one is Finland, and the other one. I don't think that understanding of the statement credited to Elina Vertonen, the foreign affairs minister of Finland in Nigeria, during a press engagement in Abuja, where he said the issue of Simon Ekpa, will be looked into. That was the statement she made. So that we don't end up, giving a kind of a certain impression. Will be looked into. That was the statement. But if you look at what the Prime Minister Alexander Stubb of Finland came out, say, though I cannot put him at random, he said they don't have any extradition treaty with Nigeria, and giving Simon Ekpa a rendition, an extraordinary rendition, will definitely be something and that will be difficult to get. There are also on the note that a proper investigation needs to be conducted into what led to that outburst of the ambassador of Finland in Nigeria, Elena. Then, secondly, Simon Ekpa has been able to make one or two advancements, trying to spread the ideology and the solidarity of Biafra all over the world. Simon Ekpa can be of any engagement at any time. He's a Finnish citizen. He married a Finnish woman, and also he has also been part and parcel, of Finnish government for some time now. So there has been speculations of what is going to become of him, definitely. But the truth of the matter is that Simon Ekpa has a lot of things on his hand currently now. For him to move to Venezuela, I don't know the source, if actually true, might be as a result of one engagement or the other. But the truth of the matter is that he is a Finnish citizen. The dual citizenship is one is Finland, and the other one is Biafra. So he cannot run away from Finland because of a certain statement credited to an entity like Nigeria, who has successfully lost diplomatic immunity with the international community as a result of that statement. And that's what I want to say on that regard. Simon Ekpa can never, run away, because he's not he's not a gun runner. He's not a criminal. He's not somebody who is found wanting in all ramification. Simon Ekpa is an agitator, a separatist, asking the world to look into the issue of the restoration of the sovereign nation called Biafra, a nation that had existed before. Who went, there was a country, and that was what Chinua Achebe actually said. There was a country, and then what happened to the country? That's the question everybody is asking. That's the question that is on the lip of everybody. It might be as a result of that single statement coming from that woman, particularly, on the corridors of power, where he said the issue of Simon Ekpa will be looked into, that has made the world to disarm Nigeria, disengage Nigeria, from diplomatic immunity. That is how powerful, Simon Ekpa can be.
So, do you believe that Finland will protect, Simon Ekpa from, do you believe that they will not at least betray their own?
Okay, this is not a black man's world. We are trying to deliver black man from the corridors of darkness. You can see every black man reasoning is a cage, especially in Nigeria, where the leadership, instead of moving forward, are advancing 1,000 times backward. So the struggle to give a black man emancipation mentally has become a threat to even the black man himself. And those who are entirely exposed to the Western world understand that there is civility there, there is democracy there is human rights, there is rule of law, and there are processes, and process should be followed. The international law, that stipulates a certain arrangement on an issue that has to do with rendition or extraordinary rendition of anybody anywhere in the world has a stipulated process. You can see, even when they extended such thing to Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, Nigerians went to court and they lost in the court. Nigeria will take someone to court, they will lose in the court. If Nigeria take someone in Finnish court, they will lose in Finnish court too. These are Nordic nations that understand civility. In this part of the world where we have millions of professors every day, not of them is functioning. They are not in a functional capacity. So what we should be talking about now, how do we save the black man from collapse? Not even Nigeria. Nigeria is already, a walking stick. That's the fact. Look at the mess they found themselves, and because of corruption, they don't want to. But they can loot billions of dollars, but they cannot be able to pay a certain debt. A whole presidential jet, a national pride and access, was confiscated by a court in France after a subnational deal Ogun State entered with a Chinese firm. Irrespective that most of our assets now is in the hands of a Chinese government. The railway, China. Everything, China. China. So, whatever they decide, the whole world is watching. Biafra is not a hidden agenda. There is not a terrorist agenda that it can be hidden. It's an open thing. The whole world knows about Biafra. So why should anybody be afraid of Biafra? I said the only nation that is in the table of the international community now is Biafra. The only nation. If you go to United Nations, is there. If you go to Security Council, is there. If you go to international community, is there. The world must look into it. But the solidarity for the restoration of Biafra is spreading, and it must come, because that is the understanding the black man needs, to understand the need where he needs to move from where he found himself to the next level. People are going to the moon and we cannot feed ourselves. 21st century, it's rubbish. And you said you want to arrest someone. What are you arresting you for? Are you happy with the state of things in Africa, where a black man does not know when to eat, when to live, when to... For what? We cannot. That is why the whole world now is seeing Nigeria as a threat to development. Nigeria has become a threat to Nigerians because the country, Nigeria, has refused to work for Nigeria, and Nigeria has refused to work for the country. Then those who said no, we cannot be part of this calamity, he said they are evil. Who told you that? Let me run down to give you a memory lane of what transpired, I think, about in the 17th century, when the struggle for independence of the greatest nation on earth, the greatest nation with 13 colonies. Talking about America. 13 colonies. America had 13 colonies.
Whooping 13 colonies. And
those 13 colonies had their tradition and culture respectively. If you go to the one that belongs to the Asians, you see it there. If you go to the one that belongs to Africa, you see it there. Everybody practice his or her own culture in America. But one day, a day came when the British colonial masters decided to increase tax. Listen, and when they increased tax, the likes of George Washington, the Rockefellers, the Lincolns, the Fords, John Jay, so many of them who found leadership in George Washington revolted against the increase of tax on American colonies, and that was what led to independence of America today. The British government also tagged George Washington of today treason say they committed treason. But today, America is free. And the capital of America was named Washington after the man who fought for the independence of America. When would the black man learn? When would Nigeria learn a name that was given, offered to darkness? Nigeria is a name offered to darkness. And you see somebody like Sonea that illuminates light, and the igbo man or the black man is ganging up to stop the light.
I don't mean to be rude. I don't want to be rude to anybody, and I don't want to disrespect anybody, and I don't want to insult anybody. What I'm saying is that is the real truth. The real truth. The real problem of Nigeria. The real problem of Nigeria are Northerners. Northerners, Fulani, Hausa are the problem of Nigeria. They don't want our Nigerian progress. If they are not the one in power, then nobody can do it. It's only them that can do it. If you say you deprive Igbo people from having what is supposed to be theirs, allow them to go for their Biafra. If you say Yoruba people are not competent, they cannot rule Nigeria, allow them to go. Then we, the Northerners, should just stay and rule ourselves. If we kill ourselves, that's our business. You cannot say no, because Igbos, you think Igbos are thieves, Igbos are wicked, Igbos are this, they are that, they are this. There is no way that there is not the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if you cannot help the Igbos, allow them to go. If you cannot carry the Yorubas, if you don't want them to rule you, allow them to go. Then we, the Northerners, will rule ourselves. If it's going to be better. We are one Nigeria, so we want the best for Nigeria. So we should look at where we are going wrong, so that we can perfect
that. Are you in support of what she said?
Yes, to an extent. I think I want to take one or two things from what that lady was the message she was trying to pass across to people, especially in Nigeria, not only Nigeria, or to the world. I think to a point, he made it very clearly that the North, when I say the North, is major threat to Nigeria. The North alone is a problem to Nigeria. Then the second people he mentioned are the Yorubas too, that them too should also be looked into, because then he pointed it very clearly that among these three regions that the Igbos deserve to an extent, at least justice. And if justice cannot be given, then the Republic of Biafra should be declared. Maybe then the Fulanis and the Hausas should go to an extent and begin to sort out themselves at the end of the day. Because if we don't modern Nigeria, if there's no plan to modern Nigeria, you know what I mean by modern? Yeah. If there's no plan to modern Nigeria, by now the leaders themselves would have sit down, to give Nigeria the DNA it required for survival. There's nothing like that. And that is why at every point in time, the country went from left to right, from right to left, without proper navigation. I can tell you that very clearly, that the time has come, that options are beginning to come. The whole world is getting signal. The whole world is, messages are being passed. If I tell you the struggle the Jewish nation, the Jewish people went through after 4,000 years or thereabout, they became an independent nation in 1948. Today, the Jews, after a few years from now, has become the strongest nation in the world. Biafrans are being surrounded by glory and honor. And we must understand that. The movement to understand it must go to an extent of celebration. If a Northerner can be saying this, I say no. And see, there are people who are still very optimistic. Because if we don't tell ourselves the truth that we refuse to tell, will first somehow, somewhere along the line, becomes the truth we have to learn. So it is better we tell ourselves the truth and learn the truth. The advancement of their reality is very, very important. And what is the reality? In Nigerian context, because I don't think Nigeria is still a nation, it's a country. Nigeria is just crafted in corruption. The corruption, Nigeria was born into corrupted. And the revival that has to come with Nigeria did not stand on the foundation. Look at it now. Online in life, if you go down the memory lane, you discover the processes Nigeria as a nation has been taking until the point we are today. Yes, we stood against rubbish, and Biafrans went to war, fought with nothing for 4 years. Not only Nigeria, not only Yoruba, they fought to go to Yorubas, they fought to go to the Northern, they fought the whole world for a good 4 years. A nation that has no, how will I put it? A nation that has no source of water. No, to start with, source of water, nothing. That Ojukwu merely declared out of tension and pressure. After options of survival, they went to Ghana. They went to a place in Ghana called Aburi. Listen, make it sure so that you will know the wayo when they inside the system. After Gowon has agreed to that, they came back. Gowon was briefed that misled. That is why they are experiencing the same thing in Middle Belt and Northern Nigeria. That the Boko Haram is wiping everybody because of the consequences of disobeying agreement. It has consequences. Let me tell you. If you see rules and regulations, that shall not kill. You went and kill. It has consequences. Find out whether it is true or not. It has consequences. And the consequences is what Gowon and Dajuma are living with till today. We must say it because see, we are the children of the oppressed, and the oppression has refused to stop. So we are going to rise up against the oppression. It's a very clear thing. We are the children of the oppressed, and you expect me to continue to live in oppression? No! We are saying no. In whatever means, we are saying no to oppression. And that is what Nigerians have continued to manipulate. They move to the left. All is targeted at Igbo, Biafra. But unfortunately, something that is connected, just like if you put them in the same basket, you put them in the same lane, you cannot be able to measure the mystery and the DNA that drives an Igbo man. The species of an Igbo man, the blood in Igbo man is not far 100%. Go and check the DNA of Igbo man. That is why they can go to a dark place and illuminate. They can go to the deepest valley, and before you know it, there's lamp. You know what is called lamp? How that lamp will come, you will not know. 7 million people were murdered in that war. Biafrans alone. I'm not talking about children. About 3.5 million children was massacred. Mothers were murdered because the world refused to understand simple agreement. And the same thing agreement now that are coming back, they say it's regionalism. But I'm telling you, God and man is watching. Divinity is watching. This is not a matter of sentiment. He said, no president for Igbo man. Yes, agreed. No president. Agreed. But let us go to functionality. Let us know who we stand. It's not a matter of carrying biro, carrying paper, and staying in one office from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the morning. What has that contributed to the economy of a nation? But the Igbo man stays under the sun, sweat, steam. And a professor in Nigeria, after 8 years, cannot be able to tie just ordinary clothes. So what is the functionality? And you're seeing a man who has no education, has been believed by some people, and after going through a particular process, he came out, he started, and today, God blesses, and he's contributing his quota, he's working. who is more functional? I'm asking you. In an atmosphere of that nature, who is more functional? Of course, we know. In all sector, in all ramifications, in all the six geopolitical zones of this country, beyond. So it's a clear fact that we cannot to move from that level to another. Africa is a setting, the guy that was named after Africa, we know him very well. We know when Africa, the black man, was the strongest man in the whole world. How did the black man lose his integrity and strength and influence? Now the white man is telling us that if we don't do this, we'll fail. But our own fathers grew our own akara, do our own akabu, do our own biscuit. Our grandfathers did it. Why are we depending on the West now? It's because we could not to lose it. We discovered our own food. The African man, no, this one not the Igbo tell am. African man discovered his own food. What happened to that discovery? The people that hold the DNA of the mysteries that surround the black man is the reason why that until that kingdom comes, the rise of that kingdom will determine how and manner the African continent will rise.